am Rex Remitio, bringing you today's burning issues at the hottest news here on News Force.
Here are the headlines on News Force. Philippines ask United Nations Tribunal to declare China's Spratlys claim as illegal. Commission on Elections to regulate candidates' campaign colors for midterm polls. FOI bill sponsorship delayed anew in lower house. U.S. Navy to face charges over two Bataha Reef damages. Center Santiago to probe alleged Senate fund misuse. Isabela mayor killed in Quezon City ambush. Pentagon declares Al-Qaeda as prime suspect in Algeria attack. And Mila Kunis stalker ordered to spend 6 months in rehab. Fair and balanced news, comprehensive reports that take you to the heart of the action. This is News Force.
The Philippine government takes its maritime dispute with China to United Nations Tribunal. Precious Aquino reports.
The Philippine government filed a case Tuesday against China before a United Nations tribunal, saying it had exhausted almost all political and diplomatic avenues to settle a territorial dispute in the South China Sea. Philippines initiated the compulsory proceedings against China as provided for under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS, and asked the UN to declare the Chinese Nine-Dash Line, outlining its claim to most of the South China Sea, including waters and islands close to its neighbors, as invalid and illegal. It demands that China desist from unlawful activities that violate the sovereign rights and jurisdiction of the Philippines under the 1982 UNCLOS. Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario pointed out that China has clearly interfered with the lawful exercise by the Philippines of its rights within its legitimate maritime zones, as well as to the aforementioned features and their surrounding waters. Further adding that its decision to file a case against China was not influenced by the United States or by Japan, which also has conflicting claims against China. Moreover, Philippines has also filed a diplomatic complaint against China's issuance of a new electronic passport bearing the 9-dash map, with the contested sea on every page of the passport. China's 9-dash line is a U-shaped map that covers nearly 90% of the waters and overlaps with the sovereign territories of its Asian neighbors, like the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan. For JNN, Precious Aquino, News Force.
The Department of Foreign Affairs Wednesday is set to form an arbitral tribunal tasked to properly address the sea disputes between the Philippines and China. DFA Assistant Secretary Bert Asuke stressed the agency wants to resolve the country's disputes with other nations and to immediately solve its sovereignty issues. Asuke explained that the arbitrary panel will be composed of 5 members, one of each coming from the Philippines and China. He added the selection of the other 3 members, however, is still yet to be discussed. The said panel will interpret the proper law to be enforced regarding the exclusive economic zones and the territorial sovereignty of each nation.
Ang lugar po kung saan natin dinala ho itong kasong to ay ang isang arbitral tribunal under Annex 7 ng UNCLOS. Liliwanagin po natin, hindi po ito sa ilalim ng International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. Ito po ay napapailalim sa Arbitral Tribunal. 5 membro po ng Arbitral Tribunal po ang bubuo dito.
United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon Tuesday called for an amicable or friendly settlement of the South China Sea territorial disputes between China and other Asian nations. The UN Secretary said he has been following the sea row carefully over the past months. He noted the United Nations is ready to provide technical and professional assistance, adding that all these issues should be resolved by the parties concerned. Ban Ki-moon made a statement after the Philippine government brought its maritime dispute with China to an international tribunal. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, says it will regulate a political candidate's campaign colors for the coming May elections. COMELEC Chair Sixto Brillantes Jr. said Tuesday the poll body would monitor television personalities who may be wearing colors that were identified with certain candidates. Brillantes meantime noted the monitoring is a strategy to be tried out during an observation period among senatorial bets. The COMELEC reminded Tuesday candidates for national posts to stop early election propaganda. According to the poll body, candidates vying for the seats in the Senate and House of Representatives must immediately remove their names and faces from walls of houses, vehicles, and public areas to save themselves from disqualification and jail term of up to 6 years. Candidates for local government positions, meantime, have more than a month to comply with the law as the campaign period for the local polls starts on March 30. COMELEC Chair Sixto Brillantes Jr. meantime noted the illegal forms of propaganda include names, logos, color motifs, and other graphical representation placed by candidates on public structures. The Liberal Party is set to appeal to the Commission on Elections Resolution 9615. The said resolution enforces strict rules and guidelines on political advertisements. LP Secretary General Mel Senen Sarmiento said they see the need to contest COMELEC's resolution since its required airtime for both radio and TV is not enough to promote the candidacy of some candidates. Moreover, Sarmiento noted the poll body should not also restrict candidates from using social media as part of their campaign. The Senate has ratified the bill on local absentee voting for media, which allows members of the media to vote 2 weeks before the actual election. In order to apply its provisions, media practitioners should be accredited first by the Commission on Elections. Media absentee voters, however, could only vote for national positions during the absentee voting. The said measure now awaits for President Aquino's approval. The FOI bill has been delayed anew in the lower house, despite having only 7 session days left for deliberation. Here is the report.
7 session days left. Time is seriously winding down for the Freedom of Information Bill. The introduction of the FOI bill was delayed again on the lower house on Tuesday. Davao del Sur Representative Mark Douglas Cagas sought an adjournment. He wants to prevent the deliberation of a new law creating the province of Davao Occidental. Despite the efforts of FOI proponents to stop the call for adjournment, there was no quorum. FOI bill advocate Lorenzo Tañada III was disappointed. He says the FOI bill, which is of national importance, should not be delayed by a parochial issue such as the Davao Occidental law.
Mahirap na rin magpatawag ng caucus, no? Pero kung magagawa po niyan, edi kami naman susunod kung ano yung magpapatawag ng caucus yung House leadership. Pero tuloy namin yung sponsorship, tuloy namin yung pag-defend ng bill sa interpellation and debate.
The FOI bill is set to fully disclose almost all transactions of public interest. On the 6th of February, all ends for the election period, and so for the FOI bill on the 15th Congress. Tañada says he has no choice but to try again tomorrow. For GNN, Rex Remitio, News Force.
The Malacanang said Tuesday President Aquino cannot certify the Freedom of Information Bill as urgent since Congress has not yet finished its debates on the said measure. Valte noted unlike the Reproductive Health Bill, there are still new issues in the FOI bill that Solons still want to discuss. It can be recalled the Reproductive Health Bill has been certified by the President as urgent, which led to its immediate passage. The Congress, meantime, still has a week to decide on the fate of the said measure.
Well, we expect a healthy debate on the FOI. So we hope that this will not derail those debates. As we have said, there are novel issues that are being raised by some lawmakers that we believe that should be taken into consideration when it comes to the debate on the issue itself. Hindi po katulad ng RH, kasi nung sa RH, all the issues were thoroughly discussed, marami na hong sides nung storya. Ngayon ho, sa FOI, meron pa ho silang mga bagong issue na gustong pagdiskusyonan.
Has postponed Tuesday's continuation of the oral arguments on the controversial Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. According to Supreme Court Clerk of Court Enriqueta Vidal, the proceedings was adjourned due to a request from Solicitor General Francis Hardalesa. Moreover, Vidal said she did not exactly know Hardalesa's reason for requesting the postponement. Vidal noted the oral arguments will resume on Tuesday next week. U.S. Navy to face charges over two Bataha Reef damages. Center Santiago to probe the alleged Senate fund misuse. And Isabela mayor killed in Quezon City ambush. Stay tuned for those stories and more reports when News Force returns.